Very serious strain on NHS flu.
Especially tough, with projections hospitalisations will go up even further as people
UK
return
24.
to work and school after the Christmas break. Well, there were 5,000 people being treated in hospital.
I keep getting poorly. I don't know about you out there because UK, but I get sick every month. I keep catching a cold.
For the same period in 2023.
This is bad.
Public Health
We're all getting sick all the time.
Influenza cases is extraordinary.
Even
the NHS
carers
Wales
and care
Northern
companies
Ireland
are
is
sick
also
at the moment.
Similar pressures.
It's not good. And nurses and doctors are some of the majority of them are sick as well. It's frightening out there, guys. It's frightening.
The daily stresses in A&E.
This is not good news. It's very dangerous times. It's not safe out there.
How are you feeling?
Actually,
Stephen, who's a consultant
got
to
health
see
problems.
Eileen. She's come in and will be admitted for treatment.
I had a throat infection for 2 months. Before that, I had a cold for about a month. And I got another cold. I'm not doing very well at the moment.
Awful lot of flu.
I cough too much now. I've got a pain in my left on my chest.
At this hospital trust in Newcastle, there are double the number of flu patients as at the same time last year, and the flu surge started a lot earlier than usual. It's always really busy in hospitals just after the new year, but this time you've got high levels of flu and other viruses, and now predictions of very cold weather, and that could add even more pressure in the days ahead. Next week especially, the boss of the trust told me, with flu still a major concern and more people going back to work and school after the holiday.
Usually that first full working day is really quite difficult for NHS colleagues to deal with. The key is it's not over yet. I think people can think it's over when you've hit Christmas, you don't need to be vaccinated, you don't need to worry about these things, and it can run through right into March. So if you haven't been vaccinated, please do so. If you have got symptoms, keep yourself to yourself. Try not to spread it around.
I have been vaccinated.
The flu vaccine doesn't give 100% cover. It varies depending on the virus strain, but the NHS says it's essential for those who are vulnerable. Many hospital leaders have reported extreme pressures, one saying while patient care is still safe, it's the worst winter in 40 years.
Both Ipswich and Colchester hospitals are full. And we are having to care for some patients in areas that are not designed for inpatient care, so having additional patients on the wards, and sadly some patients being cared for in corridors.
As ambulances bring in new patients, it can be difficult finding beds. Moving those who are medically fit out of hospital can be held up by problems with social care.
We're going to get more from Hugh in a moment because the Met Office says large parts of the country will face disruption from a heavy snow this weekend.
Only parts of it, northwestern parts of England.
Covering northern England, the Midlands and much of Wales from 6 p.m. until midnight on Sunday. Up to 40 centimetres of snow.
Look how close that is.
In some places.
The southeast of England
could fall as low as minus 10 degrees.
Very close.
Snowfall will be heaviest, of course, on higher ground. Anyway. Danny Savage reports on preparations 1,700 feet up in North Yorkshire.
It's high ground especially. So,
as England's highest part, do they know a thing or two about preparing for winter weather?
2010, remember that one?
Like, as soon as they even know there's a weather warning at Tan Hill, like, they want to come up, they want to be snowed in because they heard about when it happened last time.
This is what Tan Hill looked like 4 years ago, when dozens of people were snowed in. The story reached far and wide, so now they stock up.
Well, this morning when you came in, you would have seen a new log delivery. We've had loads of kindling delivered. We have also got a month's worth of stock in the fridge freezers, cellar. We are fully stocked and prepared. In 2021, we had over 80 people snowed in for 4 days. We kept everyone replenished and we took everybody out as soon as we could.
How special would it be to be snowed in here?
Yeah, I suppose it'd be special, like, as long as they're still serving beer, then that'd do for me.
Tonight, gritters are out across the country as temperatures fall again. There are now amber weather warnings for snow in force across a large part of central and northern England and most of Wales. Up to 40 centimetres could fall
on unfortunately, in the south.
We do tailor what the actual gritters are putting on the roads depending on the conditions and temperatures. So it may well be that those that are at the higher altitudes are putting out more salt than those at lower altitudes. So we do have to take that into account.
In Orkney, a bus left the road in icy conditions, with all services cancelled for the rest of the day. £25 cold weather benefit payments have been triggered in some postcode areas in the north of England.
Yeah, one sugar, your milk.
Oh, that's
But
good
there are
news.
particular concerns for the elderly and those vulnerable to the cold.
Seems like a lot of people think that when it's cold, they just have to keep warm and more heating. They tend to forget that the heating causes dehydration to their bodies, and the elderly do not need to be dehydrated whatsoever.
Back on the hills of the north, the camper vans have started arriving. The brave and the optimistic are present.
If you were snowed in, could you survive for a while?
We could survive for a week, easy. We've got a fridge full of food, gas, the pub.
There is, of course, a serious message to all these weather warnings. That's to keep an eye on travel conditions, to wrap up and stay warm.
If the forecast is correct, it will soon be looking like this again. Danny Savage, BBC News, North Yorkshire.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, let's get a final word from Hugh, who's with me now. The approaching
It's
cold weather,
devastating,
Hugh,
guys.
bound to make the situation even worse for an NHS already under strain.
Well, that's right, Clive. We've heard there from Danny about real concerns about the health of the most vulnerable because of the cold weather conditions.
Ow.
We've got this relatively high level of flu cases in hospitals, and of course the first week of the new year is generally the busiest time for the NHS, the first full working week, because there have been limited services from GPs and social services over the holiday season. So real concern about what might happen on Monday. And that's the very day when the government wants to set out plans for planned treatment in England and how it's going to get to its pledge of 92% of people by the end of this Parliament being treated or seen within 18 weeks. Currently, it's less than 60%, and how to cut this waiting list in England of 7.5 million. Now, some of the plans that will be set out include direct referrals by GPs for some patients, asthma and breathlessness and so on, so that they don't have to have consultant appointments first. That's to get more people off the list who don't need to be there at all. So we will get more detail on that. But I think on Monday, the question may be what's happening in A&E, and are ministers actually paying enough attention to emergency care as well as planned and non-urgent care?
Interesting.
Thank you, Hugh Pym, our health editor.
Interesting subject there, guys. There you
Our
go.
judge has ordered the president
I hope you like this video.
to appear in court a week today to be
Please subscribe
sentenced
to my
over
channel
hush
and
money
sign
payments to a
Yep,
porn
you
star.
go.
Now, the
Joel.
appearance in New York.
This is my friend Sparky and Jim every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. ITF thing. So Hills Way Show every Friday. This is my friend John, the last show every Sunday, and 9 to 12 p.m. live on the Woking Show last show every Sunday. And this is my friend Shane live with the years at 10 to 12 and on Sir Hills Way Show every Friday. Live with Zindu, which wasn't on today because Zindu's not very well. Hopefully she'll get better soon. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there at the moment. It doesn't help the weather. It doesn't help. It's not helping anyone this winter. It's the worst you hear in 40 odd years. And then it's not good. Please subscribe to Channel Sign Jones. I'll be happy. Hopefully I'll get better sometime. One day. I don't know when exactly. Bye and sign.